Some walked in alone, clutching their chests, fighting for breath. Others were brought in unconscious by strangers who disappeared into the crowds outside. No names, no loved ones, just patients hoping for healing. In rare moments, a relative might appear at the bedside, only to vanish with the promise of return that never comes. What was meant to be a short hospital stay has turned into years of waiting a lifetime inside four walls. This is the story of Peter Mushiri, Michael Musyoki, and Ununice Nasirobe, 3 lives now stitched into the fabric of Kenyatta National Hospital. My name is Agutu Rosa. In 2018, 27-year-old Peter Mushiri's life took a painful turn. He began coughing, blood pouring from his nose and mouth. The diagnosis? Severe lung damage. Since then, the corridor of Ward 7D at Kenyatta National Hospital became his world.
Majirani ndo waliniitania, kanitania nikakujiwa hapo kwa mlango na ambulance, kaletwa direct Bagathi. After Bagathi ndio wakakuja wakaniweka huko Bagathi wiki kama moja hivi wakinitibu. Bado hiyo damu bado inaendelea tu kutoka. Akasema hapana, huyu mtu anafaa Kenyatta. Walikuja wakanipima, wakaniambia mapafu yangu ina shida. Lungs zangu hazipumui poa. Wazazi wangu hayuko. Kuna ndugu mmoja. Ndio mkubwa. Hapana, hatukuwa tunakaa pamoja. Alikuwa anakaa tofauti, alikuwa anakaa Dandora, mimi nilikuwa nakaa Majengo. Kunisaidia ni noma. Noma juu ana hustle tu. Niko hustle na hustle. Alafu hata akipigiwa simu hakujangi huko. Anaga tu aje na mimi. Maisha ni ngumu, but inabidi tu ukubaliane nayo juu hauna otherwise. Juu si unajua ni shida tu kaosi. Mimi sina otherwise. So sasa siwezi toka nje nikajua uko kaa sahi. Ni miaka mingi sasa nitoke nyumbani mahali niko nakaa. Shida ni hiyo machine. Mahali naweza kaa tu.
Vumilia Mashauri, the nursing team leader at Ward 7D, knows Peter's case all too well. The ward handles chronic lung infections, and Peter is its longest resident.
Peter Mushiri has been here the longest. He suffered lung damage because of infection, and now is oxygen dependent. Now, patients who are oxygen dependent, they can be integrated back to the family if the family accepts them. That's number one. Number two, if they can afford to buy a machine called oxygen concentrator so that they can continue get supply of oxygen at home.
Mashauri says before a patient is released, they review where they are going, because in Peter's case, they need reliable electricity supply for his oxygen machine, and an oxygen concentrator demand uninterrupted power.
If you are staying in the slums, it's difficult to operate the oxygen concentrator because it needed power to drive it. And then there is a affordability of that machine. So for Peter Mushiri's case, there are no relatives. He has been here for the last 7 years. He has been in the hospital for the last 7 years. And so the relatives have never shown up. The only brother who Peter keep on talked about, he has never come to visit. And so we don't know how to release Peter because of his condition that is oxygen dependent. He can only survive in the hospital for the time being because here he is assured of oxygen supply.
A few beds down in the same ward is Michael Musyoki. He was wheeled in for an interview, the injury to his spine making movement almost impossible.
Sasa kutembea imekuwa ngumu, lazima nisapatiwe. Hata kusikia, nikiwa nyumbani hata kusikia ilikuwa ngumu. Kuongea pia ilikuwa ngumu. Lakini sasa naona naendelea ikikuwa afadhali. Sasa kuna nafuu sana. Lakini lazima nisapotiwe nikitembea. Peke yangu bado siwezi kutembea peke yangu. Napenda kwenda nyumbani. Lakini unajua huko nyumbani hakuna watu wa kunisaidia kama hapa. Pampas pata ni ngumu. Na hizo ndio mimi natumia sana.
Michael's mother and sister brought him in back in February 2024. That was the last time they were seen at the facility.
I had suffered a spinal injury, and so sometimes when he's feeding, the food goes to the airway instead of going to the stomach, and it causes aspiration pneumonia. And that's what it has been a problem with Michael, because this is not the first admission. Previously, he has been admitted with the same problem of aspiration pneumonia.
Efforts to contact the family failed. The nursing team suspects poverty played a big part.
We took history when Michael came, and they were living in a single room. There were 3 ladies, the mother, the 2 sisters, and Michael Musyoki. And so we found that already a problem with that kind of arrangement of living.
Everybody in the house goes out to look for casual jobs to fend for themselves. Michael cannot be left at home alone.
We treated Michael, and we were sure he could rejoin the family. We called them, but they didn't show up. We have tried to involve the social worker so that he can engage probably the the government administrative officers to help us, but it has not been fruitful. He needs somebody to assist because he cannot walk. He is able to feed himself, yes, but he cannot walk. He cannot go to the toilet. He uses wheelchair. We assist him to the wheelchair. So he needed some care, either within here or at home.
Down 3 floors, in Ward 4C, a ward for neurosurgery cases, lies Ununice Nasirobe. On December 2nd, 2024, she was rushed to KNH with bleeding in her brain triggered by high blood pressure. Emergency surgery saved her life, but when it came time to go home, there was no one waiting for her.
When we received her from ICU, so we have nursed her. She has been on our NG tube feeding, and we put the pipe through the nose for feeds. So until August this year, she started now feeding normally.
Eunice was discharged, but there was no one to take her home. The relatives that could be reached were her son and uncle, but were not willing to come for her. According to what they gathered, Eunice is estranged to her family. She has 3 children. She was married and separated, left the family, and started living alone.
Because this lady also, they said, abandoned the family. Now nobody wants to take her. So the last time, I think it was the son who came, talked with the social worker, he also talked with him, promised to come back for her. but up to date, we have not seen them again.
Grace Njiru, the senior nurse in Ward 4C, says they now do more than just treat patients like Eunice. They bathe her, feed her, and counsel her.
And she's still on treatment. She's an hypertensive patient, so she's still getting her medications. We also do her vitals because we have to keep on checking so that whatever happened does not recur again. And it is not for her alone. We have many patients. It being a neurosurgical ward, our patients basically are bedridden, 3/4 of our patients. So they need the basic care, that is the personal hygiene, feeding, the nutrition part of it, the medication, and any other assistance that the patient may require from us as the nursing team. So in collaboration with that, we also include the physiotherapist who does the physical therapy for the patient, including her. We also include the counselor. She's a patient who has been with us for a long time, the longest we can, and she's a patient who has been requiring a lot of counseling, both to her, to the relatives.
When patients like Eunice arrive at KNH, medical social worker Phyllis Murady and her team begin tracing efforts within 48 hours.
We have a system where the social worker, together with National Registration Bureau, does fingerprints for the patients if they do not have their national IDs, and then we are able to trace when we get the results from the National Registration Bureau, then we are able to know where they are from. And from there, we do contact tracing. If we are able to get hold of the relatives or not able to get hold of the relatives, then we know the person is on their own. And that's now when we start working on finding a place for them to go and stay. So we are working together with religious institutions, private institutions, people who of goodwill who are willing to take people who have no one to care for them. And that's now when we process their documents, their bills through our processes in KNH, and we are able to place them in those institutions.
Inside these sterile holes, time slows. The walls have had sobs, hopes, prayers, and silence. A silence often speaks louder than anything else. They may have been forgotten by the world outside, but not by the nurses who know their names, their stories, and their scars. These health workers have become the family they lost or never had. They may never return to the beds they once called their own, but here, at least, they are not alone. Agutu Rosa, KTN.